That's
I get
nonsense.
that.
I'm
Fine.
sorry.
But
We cannot do this whole year thing from now. No. We're not about to do this.
Are these slots players for Sam?
No. One
but
second.
then
I know,
Slot was
but Sam,
involved in the decision making of who to keep and who to sell.
Guys,
no, but
let me
also
speak
slot.
for a
So,
second. Let me.
no, but one second. The only thing is though, you can't say that Virgil van Dijk. Yeah, he's Klopp's player, but he would also play under Arne Slot, right? There's several players in this team that would still play under Arne Slot, regardless of who was bought in, because some of these players are the best in the world. So you can't just
So
say,
this
"Oh,
whole
there's players."
thing
None of them are
does
his
not
players.
apply.
Yes, and that's the point that I was about to make. Listen, with all due respect, Ram is waffling as per usual. There's nothing new here. The reason why he's waffling is when you're talking about Klopp's players, a Klopp player would be like if Slot walked in and maybe had a Henderson to deal with or a Milner to deal with or so. And I'm saying it's all due respect, but that's just the reality. If he had someone maybe of that quality or that caliber to deal, be like, okay. But with all due respect, if Pep Guardiola walked into this football club tomorrow, then the likes of Van Dijk and Mo Salah and all these players would be starting anyway. So it's not like it has nothing to do with management. We can't just sit up here and do this. I'll tell you why we can't do it. Because this is not a rebuild. This is not oh my God, we're going to start from step zero. We're building with Alberto Moreno, Osimhen, Mignolet, and Loris Karius. That's not the team. This team already has 4 or 5 world-class players. It's in the spine. And obviously, I'll give an example. Maybe Gravenberch benefits from playing under Slot more than he would benefit from playing under Klopp. But in reverse, Jota would benefit from playing under Klopp more than he would be from playing under Slot. There are examples of both in which a player maybe suits this guy's system more or that guy's system more. But we're not about to sit up here and run this whole narrative of these are Klopp's players. Of course, it's Klopp's players, but they're 3/4 of them are very good. Even all of us, I'm considered by many as the biggest complainer on this panel. I wouldn't sell like half the team or something. I know, I really wouldn't. Even in the summer, like when it was peak Hussam madness, I would have sold 3-4 max. Like it's not like we're out here trying to sell half the team. There's a lot of good players in this team, And today it proves it once again, and might as well, since I have the mic, I'll just speak. Today's game, look, I'll be honest with you, I like Mike's analysis 3/4 of the time. And today is one of the days that I like Mike's analysis. Tell you why. Because what he said is 100% correct. Let's be objective here. Wolves scored from a Liverpool unforced error. That's it. It's not like Wolves peppered our goal. It's not like Wolves got to our goal 500 times. We dealt with every single attack. Konate was there. Trent was there. Trent was there today defensively. Robertson was there. Every single one of them. Van Dijk, they were there in the correct moment, in the correct time. It's literally just Alisson and Konate having a miscommunication moment in which really Wolves scored. So I'm not really worried about today's game. Today's game does not teach me anything, and today's game does not prove to me anything, because we went to the game, and even the goal that we conceded from our own mistake, So that's the thing. And there are certain things that you have to look at and think, because for me, like, look, there enough chances now with Szoboszlai in the 10. It just doesn't work. I'm not saying drop him. I'm saying play Szoboszlai in the 6 next to Gravenberch. Let's put McAllister in the 10. So McAllister can now be the final decision maker. Every time McAllister is in the final third with the ball in a dangerous position, he either creates a chance or plays the correct pass. Szoboszlai, with all due respect, as a number 10, your best attributes cannot be all defensive. I'm a good tackler. I have good work rate, blah, blah, blah. That's all beautiful. It's amazing. But it's not sexy enough to play the 10. To play the 10, you need to be sexy. And he just is not sexy enough at all with the football. That's why we need McAllister in the 10. To go there.
I'm sorry to cut you, Hussam. That's the thing with Szoboszlai. I like Szoboszlai from his days at RB Salzburg. He's not this run around and tackle guy. He's not Jordan Henderson. He can create a goal. He can score a goal. But all of a sudden, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with the guy. Maybe it's Klopp drilling some habits into him that come from Jordan Henderson or something. This is not how I've seen the guy play.
Come on, we cannot blame Klopp for this. We can't.
I'm not blaming Klopp. I'm not blaming Klopp. I'm just coming up with the theory as to why the guy is not playing the way that I know him playing.
But is it just? I mean, look, I think there's a basic thing. Is it Occam's razor? The simple, most obvious explanation is normally true. I think he's just suffering like a number of players that have come to. He's just not a Premier League player, and that's not. There's been a number of players that have come to our shores that haven't been able to hack it. The same as we've had players that have been brilliant here, like Coutinho, outside of the Premier League, he wasn't the same player that you guys had at Liverpool, you know. And I think that's all I'm really. I don't think he's the kind of person that will leave and he'll go back to Germany or he'll go to Italy, and you'll be like, why can't he do it for us? He's only played a couple of games. Have you guys seen what Scott McTominay is doing for Napoli? How good he looks in a different league that isn't as fast. So sometimes, even though he's a Prem player because he was born and bred in Britain, I don't know if he's a Prem player. I mean, he might end up looking. You had bloody Smalling. Smalling's been in multiple Serie A Team of the Years. He weren't ever getting near a Premier League Team of the Year. I just think sometimes you buy a player and there's nothing wrong with them. They're just not suited to the league they go to. I honestly think it's as simple. I don't think Klopp ruined him. I don't think Slot ruined him. You look at Gravenberch, and I think that's a case of how Klopp wanted him to play didn't suit him, but he's showing he can be a Premier League player right now. But I do think Szoboszlai's a player that I don't know what you guys got midfield issues. Why does he keep starting when he's been so bad? Like, that's one question I have.
Who else?
Because we don't have anyone else.
Can't play fucking Curtis Jones, who slows the ball down every time he gets it. Who else are we going to play in the 10?
That's why. Terry, I said this at the start of the season. I was excited to see what Harvey Elliott would do under Slot because he looked good in pre-season, but now he just got an ankle injury, so he's out for I think a couple of weeks. So
he'll be back in November, I think.
Yeah, he broke his foot.
In the first half, when Szoboszlai had the ball and Mo was running down that right-hand side, the only 10 that we really have that could make that pass, don't say Jones, he can, is Elliott. No, I mean like actual 10, like natural 10. It's Elliott. That's all. But listen, we have to move Szoboszlai. There's no other solution. Just play him in the 6. To be honest with you, every time someone describes Szoboszlai, it's like we're describing Mason Mount. I'm sorry, it's the same exact description. That's why just play him in the 6, let him run around and do that shit in the back. Don't get me the ball in the final third and me say, oh, you have to run around. But yeah,
there was something that was said earlier about the sustainability of this kind of performance, and the response that I had to that is there's a great saying in golf: there's no pictures on the scorecard. Right? At the end of the day, the result is the result. And when you look at this objectively from top down, we have conceded 4 goals this season. One of them is an out-and-out own goal, and I would consider today's an own goal. Outside of that own goal, listen, Wolves scored it, but Konate it reminded me of that Gabriel error last season. I forget if it was against us. I don't remember who it was, but it was the same thing. Gabriel's trying to shovel the ball out. Raya didn't come. Boom, boom! It turns into a goal. That's on us, right? But ultimately, when you look at this objectively, Salah missed an open goal. Szoboszlai missed one from 3 feet out. On another day, that could be 4-0, 4-1. To me, that's sustainability, and I don't expect 8, 9, 10 out of 10 performances out of a team. That's never going to happen. And today, were we unbelievable? No. But Wolves was garbage, and they did not threaten me, and I was not scared. And someone who deserves praise, which I'm surprised no one mentioned, is Konate, because he did make the mistake, but he scored a goal, and he made up for that mistake 5 times.
Who didn't mention him? I literally did.
He's still
Konate was unbelievable. He made one error, but he made up for it because he scored a goal, and then he stopped about 2 or 3 unbelievable, at least chances from turning into, including one block on Forbes, which he's coming back from 15 feet away, and he gets
because he cooked Trent Forbes, didn't he? He was about to square it for a tap in.
That guy is so shameless. Stop it, please.
I did in that moment. In that, we're talking about what Konate did when he saved Liverpool. In that moment, Forbes cooked Trent and was about to square it, and Konate saved the day. That doesn't mean Trent had a bad game. In that moment, am I right or wrong?
Trent was also good though. Trent made a couple of those tackles. Trent made a couple of those same tackles.
Yeah, I want to ask you this, right? I don't know your name, bro.
Me?
On the sustainability of this performance, right? My point was not on the chance creation, the finishing, or the defensive aspect. It was on the fact that we are sloppy in possession. And the fact that when we play a team that is better than Wolves, would that performance fly? No, it wouldn't. Because we've seen that we can concede stupid goals from those kinds of mistakes where we give the ball away in dangerous areas. So when we play a more clinical team, like your Arsenals, your Man Cities,
who's the
and
best
God
team
help
you've
me,
played?
Chelsea.
Who's the best
Will
team you've
will
played
it?
so far?
United away
Quality-wise,
is
United.
the
Nah,
toughest.
not United. Probably Nottingham Forest.
But there we go. But I'm asking as a genuine, is it fair to? I think a lot of your concerns. I mean, when do you? Because the fact you've played none in the first 6 games, you must have a run soon of games against like top
Yep,
6.
we play
soon.
Real Madrid, Leverkusen, Arsenal in the same week or some shit.
Forget Europe. Like what? Who's your next sort of 5-6 Premier League games?
I'll tell you because I've looked at this
Crystal
100 times.
Palace, Chelsea, Arsenal. I mean, listen, from October to December, we play Newcastle, Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea, City,
Everton,
and-
even everyone.
yeah, Everton. And then we also play Southampton. So I think out of like 8 games, 7 of them are crazy hard fixtures. Plus, you have to play Leipzig, Leverkusen, Real Madrid the same week as Manchester City.
And
So
the Carabao Cup 4th round
which also leads into the answer though, because like while on one hand you are correct in your assumption of what happens when we play teams like that, we haven't played teams like that, and I can't answer that until I see how we differ our approach. Because if you look at what Slot does, he doesn't play the same way for 90 minutes, and he makes tactical changes in games every game. So what that tells me is that this is the kind of manager that's going to approach a game like that differently than all of these games. And I can't answer anything because it's just straight up speculation until we play Chelsea on October 20th. So basically, we're like, we can sit here and we can debate over it, but none of us are going to be able to formulate an answer until we play Chelsea at home.
I'll answer
see
this
how
question,
how
no
he
problem.
differs it.
No, let me answer it. I don't need to wait and see. I already know like the teams that will trouble us in the league this season. It's not a wait and see matter for me. First of all, I think sustainable has become the buzzword of the football terrace. 24-25. This is everyone's favorite buzzword now. What's sustainable? What's not sustainable? Habibi, from the beginning when Slot walked in till the second, we're playing the same exact football. So obviously it's sustainable. We've won all the games except one game. So by definition, it's sustainable. So it's not like our defenders are our highest goal scorer. Currently, our highest goal scorer is Luis Diaz. Our highest assister is Mo Salah. So everything checks out. One winger is the most assists. One winger is the most goals. Everything makes sense. Nothing is nonsensical here. It's not like Tuchel's Chelsea, where their highest goal scorer was Jorginho from penalties or a centre back. That's not the case right now. We have a sustainable style of play, and we're playing the correct manner. Now, in terms of playing these teams, I'm with all due respect, I'm not even saying this as a dig or anything. Chelsea at Anfield is not a test. That's not a test to show
Don't
how
do this,
good.
bro. Bro, you did this last season with United.
I am
Please
going to do this.
Sorry, guys. Let me just jump in from it. Just for sake of the talk, can we just let people finish their points? Because when people start talking, one, viewers can't hear, and two, it's harder for KJ to clip them.
Yes.
So over the
And also top right, your mic is loud as hell. I can't lie to you, so I can't even interrupt you. So when it comes to Chelsea for me is not a test. That's not a game in which I look at and go like, oh my God, that's such a difficult test. We get it. You have Cole Palmer. We understand. But I'm not looking at that game as a test. I think Leverkusen is going to be the first test. And after that, Arsenal is going to be the test. I'm not going to stoop down my level to some top 4 contender. I'm not going to sit up here and say, because if United aren't a test, why are Chelsea a test? Why? Just because they've had a better start to the season? They're both in the same pot. Chelsea haven't yet to prove that they're outside that pot. They're in with Spurs, with Villa, with all those clubs. If we are to sit up here and say, because you all say that, Hussam, why don't you say Liverpool is a serious title contender? Okay, if I'm a serious title contender, then our first test is Arsenal. Our first test is not Chelsea. Arsenal away at the Emirates, that's the real first test. Because we're going to come up against a team that had the best defense in the league last season, that's finished above us 2 years in a row, and that is the team that we're gonna have to, exactly what Mike said, find a solution, play a different style. Against Chelsea, do I expect us to play a different style and a different system and change stuff around just because they have one good player? No, I don't. I expect us to beat Chelsea at Anfield. And everyone on this panel should 100%. Be, if you're headed into Chelsea at Anfield game, you should all predict the Liverpool win.
That don't mean
exactly. So the first test for me, when I say test, I'm saying it's an SAT. It's AP. It's A-level exams. I'm sitting here and it's a fucking test. It's Arsenal.
Chelsea